Welcome to the Mills Knows Bills podcast. My name is Mills Bender. I'm the founder and CEO of Mills Knows Bills, where we help you, variable income earners, master your money in 90 days. The point of this podcast is to help you make the most of your fluctuating income so you can stop living paycheck to paycheck, pay off your debt twice as fast, and get on track toward reaching both your personal and professional financial goals. Now, as I continue to grow my team here at MKB, you may have some guest hosts from time to time. However, our goal does not change. Whether we're bringing in a guest speaker, having an in-depth conversation about our personal finances, or talking about a topic that is of interest to you, our goal is to help you master your money.
Matches your vibe.
Yes, matches the vibe.
They might be a little bizarre, but
That's all right.
I might need to clean them a little bit.
Are we recording?
Yeah.
Oh,
Hi. Welcome to the Mills Knows Bills podcast.
Welcome, MKB fam. We should not be on a podcast together, but also, I don't know how it took us 2 years to get to this point. Are you ready?
1, 2. Hi.
Welcome, MKB fam, to the Mills Knows Bills podcast.
They look so cute.
They look cute. I'm your host and CEO of Mills Knows Bills, Mills Bender, and with me today I have somebody I just met. I'm just kidding. I can't even keep straight. It's Chloe Peña, a Day of Socials. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So nice to meet you.
If you guys don't know, she is my number one obsession in my business. She does all my content on Instagrams, Facebooks, LinkedIn's. I don't know why I'm adding us. It's fine. Anyway, multiple. So she's going to be on here today to talk about marketing because I think in the last 2 days, I've been asked 3 times my marketing strategy. And my answer every time has just been Chloe Peña. Honestly, your team at Day of Socials has been absolutely amazing. I'm getting ahead of myself. Please take a moment and introduce yourself.
Well, hi. My name is Chloe. I am the CEO and founder of Day of Socials. We are based out of Miami, and we are a content agency, essentially, where we really are just looking to make content effortless for businesses and individuals itself. So not only do we do businesses and capture that content strategy, but also like for events and stuff like that, weddings, birthday parties, all that personal stuff, where we're truly like giving people the best of both worlds, where they can like fully live in the moment, but we're capturing it. Mm-hmm. So that's a little spiel.
Yeah. You have a really good slogan.
Oh, I'm like, which one? There's like
you have 5. A lot. You have a
I'm
lot.
also in the middle of a rebrand right now, so everything is like new. But yes, one of my favorite things to say is just get off your phone.
Yes.
That's it. That really is like my goal. Mm-hmm. And I think like with Mills, that's something that like we talk about all the time. It's like when we first started working together, she's like, I don't want to look at Instagram. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to do any of it, LinkedIn, whatever. And I'm like, sick. That's my whole heart, right? Because I think in the social world, like it's about the virality and trends and likes and all that stuff, which is cool and which is dope. But really the heart of Day of Socials is I didn't know like if I went too back, whatever.
You're good. It picks up a lot of noise.
Oh, does it?
It's a blessing and a curse.
Okay. Yeah. It's going to hit me breathing. So, so the heart of Day of Socials is truly that like we can live this like God-given life and she can actually focus on her zone of genius and I could focus on mine. So it really is the heart that like people are actually off of their phone.
Yeah. You touched upon something that was honestly talked about a lot. I get asked all the time, well, how many times has your stuff gone viral? Dog, I don't care about that. I don't care about virality. If it happens, cool. What I really care about is consistency. And that's kind of been the underlying theme of every time I've been asked this question the last couple days, particularly, what's your marketing strategy? Post every day. Like, be consistent. I show up like this. I show up like this. I show up rolled out of bed. Like it doesn't matter. We show up consistently and it's about the value that we're adding rather than the trendy looks or the audios or anything like that. Because frankly speaking, there is a strategy behind the social media, but I'm using social as more of a passive salesperson. It's kind of extending my reach, not just for my company, but my brand and my other team members. And so why do you think so many people get caught up with going viral?
Because everyone wants to keep up with the Joneses. It's just a comparison game. And this is something that I like to talk with my business owners about. I'm like, okay, let's pretend that your Instagram page is like an actual storefront, right? Mm-hmm. And you have 50 people walk in. Can you even handle 50 people? Okay. What if 1,000 people? Can you handle 2 million people coming to your storefront? Like, most likely you cannot. Like, we look at virality as like, because we just look at it as numbers, but like there are humans behind that. And a lot of times it's like the virality, yes. Does it look awesome? Cool. Is it going to give you a huge spike in numbers? Definitely. But if you're not even prepared to handle all of those numbers, it's like, it could hurt you. I know plenty of businesses that like they actually struggle after, because then they can't keep up with the influx. They don't know what's going on. Or what happens a lot of times is that they went viral for a trend and that has nothing to do with their business. And then everyone's like, oh, I don't want to follow you anymore because I thought you were posting that, you know? Yeah. So then that also happens too. So it's like, I'm all about trends and all about cool, but does it go back to your business and does it actually feed your clientele or share your story? And that's why, again, it's cool to go, I get it. Like, no one likes to post and get like 2 likes or something. Like, I get it. Does it hurt our ego? Yes. But if you think long term, that's where the benefit comes in. It just like, it doesn't make sense.
I think something that you and I have talked about a lot of is I would rather have 5,000 people who follow me that are actually interested in what I provide rather than 5 million people who honestly couldn't care less about
or even going into, like, I tell this a lot to like business owners that I'm talking to. Would you rather have 20,000 followers and $20 in sales, or 20 followers and $20,000 in sales? Like, who cares? And in reality, what you want is internally your revenue, your sales. That's what you want to be strong. If it's just a bunch of followers, then it's like, but you can't, take your team out to lunch or something. Like, well, literally, what is the point? What is the point?
Yeah, you're not wrong. I think there's a misconception too that, you post on social media and within 3 months, you're going to start getting a return on investment of that. No, I've been posting consistently for 4 or 5 years. And I'm just now getting to the point where I have people who are finding me because of social media. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I'm using it as an extension of my sales process. I meet somebody at a networking event. Maybe I schmooze them a little bit, get to know them, but then they follow me. They get to continue knowing, liking, and trusting me. Yeah. Like that gentleman I was telling you about yesterday who is interested in my services, but he's waiting until the new year to get started. Yeah. He sees every single post. And I know he does because he engages on every single post. And to me, that's more important because it's doing the sales work for me, getting me closer to that sale in the long run. And so, what would you say is the typical timeline for most businesses to see a return on investment? Because social media is very different than like doing ad spend, right? Ad spend is very dollar for dollar. What you're doing is more of a long-term strategy.
Yeah, it's long-term because what Day of Socials, or DOSE for short, what DOSE focuses on is I want to make sure that you are the expert in your field. I'm trying to showcase your expertise, your authority, so there's a story that's going to go on. And we have like different phases, right? So like, let's say like for a 6-month phase, like the first few are more like getting to know you. How did you start? What's the passion behind this? Like understanding that. Cool. Now round 2, we're going to get into a little bit different. We're going to change. Also, it depends on everyone's goals and stuff, but I think like, I kind of think social media is like, if you ask 10 different people how to like gain muscle, you're probably going to get like 10 different answers, right? Yeah. And it doesn't mean that like one is inherently wrong or like 100% right. It's just like what works for you, what makes sense. I don't like how they do that. I like how they do that. Cool. So social media is very much the same thing. And I think that's why people feel so overwhelmed with social, because they hear one guru say this thing and another guru say this thing. And they're like, well, which one? Which one works for you? So all of that to say, I think for us and our strategy and how we like move forward with things and really try to tell this story, like I like to at least have 6 months.
Yeah.
Give me 6 months to really show who you are, your passion, your expertise, what you like, what you don't like. Let's get a little controversial. Like, what can you not stand in your industry or whatever? That's fine. But like for me, I think like that has to be a minimum.
Yeah. No, I think putting the person in a position of authority is really what stands out. And I think 6 months is, I see growth pretty much every single month with you. And when I don't see growth, it's typically because of external factors, and it has nothing to do with our strategy because we have been consistent.
Well, I was just going to say, like, I think, but the reason being is that like you have trusted the process the entire time.
I don't ask questions.
You do not. This woman does not ask questions, but it's smart because it's like, if you're hiring me, it's because you trust me, or at least you should. So then like I should be doing what I'm doing, you know? She's like, I fully trust you, do everything, you know, like, but yeah. So, I think that's why you have seen the results that you have, you know, like all these like things that you get invited to and stuff. Right. And they mention like social media. We saw you on social media, you know, because you come across people, see how you speak, how, you know, so that's why it has worked. If you fight the process, then it's like, it's not going to be it.
I think your superpower though is helping your clients show up authentically. So there is no disconnect between who the person is in person versus online. And so that's been helping a lot of even my sales strategies recently. You know, they'd never meet me. They just see me online and I show up and they're like, wow, you look exactly the same. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've been told that. I'm like, you meet people that don't
I actually didn't know that.
And they're like, you speak the same way too. I feel like I already know you. I'm like, well, this is the first time I'm meeting you. So can we kind of catch me up to speed a
you're like,
bit?
what's your name? Hi.
Yeah. What's your name? Thank you. And so I think that's your superpower because you allow, it's really hard as a business owner to feel like you're showing up authentically when you're just holding a phone or behind a camera, whatever. But having you on the other end, as opposed to even just somebody else, you bring that out in the person. I think your personality is very accommodating and comfortable. Right, we're not going to get into our Russian accents.
Stop, because either the Russian accents or like too emotional because I will start crying. The Cuban accent. I don't know. We have all these accents.
We have identity crises.
Thank you. Should we just like switch glasses? Talk about identity crisis.
Identity. Also, there's Gallo capturing content out there.
Sick.
It's definitely not
proud of him.
Distracting at all. Yes.
Get that content. Get that content, boy.
Get that content.
Thank you. Yes. Oh, the green looks very good on you.
Thank you. I like those on you. Your face nicely.
Well, thank you for saying that, but you're right. It is very specific. I have a few different ways, and you know this, that like I will shoot content with our clients, and one is like a more topical type of strategy, and then one is more conversational, where essentially it's almost like a podcast where like I'm just like not in the frame, right? But it's like this, I have it up and I'm just talking and I'm asking you questions, and based on my brain and what I think people need to know or hear, I'm like, oh, tell me about that, tell me about that, tell me about that, right? With you, because we've been working together for so long and you are top G, like this girl is the best. No, she truly is. We go a little bit more topical. But you're so cool. But we go a little bit more topical, but it's because we've also worked together so long, and it still is me, and we're still talking, you know? But you're right. That's super, super key to me, because I do not want people, first of all, it's mad uncomfortable to be like reading a script or memorizing. And number two, like if this was Instagram or social media in 2007, then like it might pass, but it's 2024. Like we can smell the fakeness from a mile away. We can see it now. The internet is a lot more mature. So you just, I don't know. I mean, I think some people still do it, but for us personally, like it's just, I need the human to shine. I need the expertise to shine. I need the authority to peek through. And I know a lot of people don't even feel that like I'm the expert, but like I'll pull it out of you. I got you. I remember
the first time we ever recorded, and we did all of our social content. And then I had a speaking engagement at UCF that you came to me with. And then at the end of it, you go, that's how you actually talk? No. We're re-recording all of that.
Yes.
All of the content. content.
Yes, because we were doing content. You were like, and today, I don't know. I don't even know what she was saying.
I was like a news reporter, dude.
Yeah. She was like a news reporter, and she's like, well, yes, because the financial
the emergency fund, like it was,
like the emergency fund needs to be put. I don't know, literally using lingo that I can't.
In my social media strategy of when you started working with me.
because then she did the speaking engagement, and then she's talking so like
a human.
like a human, but also you're so smart. So it's not like all of this stuff goes out the window. You just deliver it differently. And yes, I really did go up to her and I'm like, we're redoing every single thing.
We did. I think the only ones we kept were the ones where I hid in the closet and poked out. And then the one where I tried rolling out of the bed, but my belly was so big.
5 reasons why your money, whatever. And then she would like turn around and she's like, here's 5 more. Ready for October?
Do you remember the one where I was hugging the pillow pretending to cry?
Or the one that you were pretending to sleep and you're like, did you just have a bad dream about finances? They used to be like commercials. They used to be like mini commercials. They were sick though. They were awesome. Really propelled us in the beginning. There was also one that she took off her chancleta and she threw it at the camera.
I did do that.
That's true.
I did do that.
That's a true story. And that one got a lot of engagement. People like that. Yeah. And she talked about Mean Girls.
I channeled my inner Mean Girls. Yeah.
She was like, just because she's wearing army pants and flip-flops
doesn't mean you need to. They're spending money doesn't mean you just spend money.
It was so good.
Good times. I think there's too much personality at this table for a whole
Not
episode.
Enough personality.
Also, quick sidebar, if you are listening to this podcast, you should 1,000% go over to the YouTube channel and watch it.
Because we have great glasses on.
And we're having way too much fun for you not to be part of it. Speaking of, what's been your favorite part about doing dose?
Gosh, that's such a loaded question, Mills.
I know.
My favorite part about dose, I really love humans. Like, I love people, and I actually genuinely want to hear everyone's story. Mm-hmm. It's fascinating to me. So I think my favorite part of dose actually is like the thought. I'll do like both, right? For the personal side, like the thought of a mom being at a kid's birthday party and not having to like be glued to her phone, and she could actually just like be present and but then she still gets all the content. Like, to me, the fact that she's like off of her phone, because here's the thing, like it's like a tech company, like we're like using technology, right? But I am like, you know this, I am the most not like, I wish I could just be barefoot all day and like swimming in the ocean.
Crunchy.
Yeah.
Like
mad crunchy. Yeah. So it's like, I laugh because it's like, I hate the phones so much that I made a business about getting people off of their phones. So whether that's like a personal event where like a bride could be very present, or a mom, or a business owner where they can like dive into the things that they actually wanted to get into business for and not social media stuff. Like the thought of people getting off their phone. I know that sounds like so like cliche, but it truly is the heart of my business.
I don't think it's cliche, because I think a lot of other social media companies are out there because they enjoy technology.
I actually do not.
And I think the fact that you abhor it,
you
loathe it,
I do,
is what makes you so good, because you're focused on quality content and being incredibly intentional behind the capturing and editing of that content.
Yeah, there's a level of intentionality. Like when we put our reels out, especially for like the events and stuff like that, or like maybe for a conference or something, we actually internally call them mini movies.
Yeah.
Like, we don't even call them reels. We're like, oh, are you finished with the mini movie? Because there is so much like training and specifics. Like, I actually look at them like beautiful cinematography. Like, I'm teaching the girls about like light and depth and like this angle and that angle. And like, this is too, I don't want to be a content creation company that we're just like holding the phone and like pointing and shooting. Like, like we're like getting angles. And so there's also an art involved in it too, that I love. I love that aspect too. But more than anything, it's like people off of their phone and like living present in this like beautiful God-given life. Like, that to me is like, that's everything.
Little chef's kiss there.
Little chef's kiss. I can't put my, because my lip gloss, but
is it spicy lip gloss?
It is spicy.
Mine is spicy too.
Lexi, shout out to Lexi. Lexi, she's the boss, man. Yeah. The longest person that has been with me, like in the team. She got me 2 lip glosses for Christmas.
Nice.
And they're a little spicy.
A little spicy.
I love them.
I gave Joe a smooch yesterday. I was like, careful, it's spicy. He's like, come on, man.
That's so good.
I love it.
That's so good.
So what's next for Dose?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out tomorrow when we do our planning.
We do our vision boarding and planning.
Tomorrow, Mills and I are doing a whole like vision board planning and everything for Dose. Yeah. I mean, I think to like generally answer the question, I think what's next for Dose is just expansion, but not like in the like, we're going to take over the world way, which I mean, I guess like cool if that happens. But again, like very intentionally expanding into different areas. I think we're now like even like targeting different people. Like our market is changing. The people who are calling us are changing. And, you know, Dose has only been around. It'll be 3 years in April, which you told me it was April. I thought we started in August. That was hilarious. For 2 years, we've been celebrating our birthday in August.
I actually happened to record a reel that day and post it before I had even met you in that capacity. And so I know what date it is. I can scroll back in the...
Yeah, I literally have been celebrating our birthday in August for the last 2 years, but 6. So we'll be around in 3 years in April. Cool. And
but
you know, like
doing social media and content and everything.
For like yes, I've been doing socials literally when I was in high school. Before Facebook had like business Facebook for businesses, I was putting like, let's say the name of the boutique was Mills Knows Bills, whatever. It was Mills Knows Bills, right? Yeah. Instead of like first name, it was like first name was Mills and then like last name was Knows Bills. Like I was making the personal pages to be like business page. So I've literally done this forever. But again, now it's just like with a totally different heart posture and just something that like fully aligns with me. So 3 years of Dose. You know, I think in that time, like you start finding out, you know, like within those first 5 years of like a business is like when you start our personality and things change and we thought it was this way and the market wants it this, you know, whatever. So
there's a lot of business owners who are probably watching / listening to this, thinking, well, I don't know what to talk about. I don't have anything to talk about. Nobody is interested in learning about my business. What would you say to that?
Giant eye roll. That's what I would say. No, that's dumb. Just kidding. I'm not calling you dumb. The thought is dumb though. Like the thought that like you have nothing to, I'm literally calling people on your podcast.
You're not.
But the thought of that, like you don't have anything. It's like the same thought of like, why am I running like imposter syndrome? You know what I mean? It's like, we all have it. It happens. Cool. Like, allow it to like happen for the moment and then just let it pass. You do have something to talk about. How do I know? Because you have a business and you have clients. So obviously there is something that you are offering that people need. And also here's the reality. Like I say this with all the love in the world. You're not the marketing expert. I am. Like, I don't mean it in a mean way, but it's like, you're like, I can tell you 50 different ways to sell this, you know? You might be like, well, it's a cup. Okay, well, I can give you a lot of different ways to sell this cup. That's what marketing, it's the same thing over and over and over again, just like little tweaks here and there. So like, that's what my job is. If your job is to do the strategy on your own, then that's what you're doing right now. And it most likely isn't working or else you wouldn't want to like reach. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, yes, but no.
Let's put your brain on display.
Oh gosh, no, I'm so nervous.
Don't be nervous. I'm getting a feel that you should
here we go.
Give the audience some ideas. Okay. So I'm going to give you a company like an industry, what they are trying to attract, and then I want you to respond with a very basic real idea. Let's do 3 different ones. Okay. So the first one.
3 different reels or 3 different examples? 3
different examples. 1 real idea for each.
That's so hard.
It's not hard. No, your brain works unlike any other I've seen.
I know, but all right, whatever. Just
we're
try
going to do it. All right. Let's say that somebody is a home inspector and they are trying to attract more realtors so that way they can build strategic connections to get in front of more home buyers. So inspector wanting to get in touch with residential realtors, build a relationship with them. 1 real idea.
I mean, can I be like just very plain? I would pick like the top 3 reasons. The top 3, maybe like I would search up FAQs. This is probably like a really good like blueprint, honestly, for any of these examples that you're going to give. I would look up like what are the main like top 3 questions that realtors or someone like looking for that in your industry are asking. And then I would answer those. This is technically 3 reels, but whatever, you can put it into one. But I would answer it, but I would start by saying, hey, realtor, blah, 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 and then like whatever the answers are. Like I would answer, look, do the top 10 questions that like are frequently asked and answer those, because that's what people are asking. And if you know the answer, which you do because you're an expert, then if you just answer that in the reel, and if you just address it to the realtor or the home buyer or whoever it is specifically that you're getting to, if you address them, then you're answering their question and you're making their lives easier, you know, because it's also like they're also getting asked that too. You know what I mean?
So, okay, now let's switch it up.
Okay.
Let's talk about a commercial construction company that doesn't necessarily need more business, but they're struggling with finding good laborers, good workers. What types of reels would you encourage that business owner to create?
Okay, so what I would do for that is I would talk about like how you treat your workers. I would talk about like labor safety, how many breaks you're allowed to take. I saw a reel like a few months ago that like went, I think it was on Only in Date or something. And well,
it must be legit.
I think so, yeah, it must be real. Actually, shout out Only in Date. That's so cool. But it was a reel of like someone from another building, and they like zoomed into a building that was under construction, and it was the whole team like stretching like in the morning and all that stuff. And I was like, that's actually so cool and such a good thing to show that like they're taking care of these men, like they're lifting heavy things, like, you know, stuff like that. So I would talk about, I mean, if you have any examples like that, super cool to show that. But I think explaining how you take care, showing the culture of your team, of your workers, maybe even interviewing a worker or two would also be dope. Like, I mean, I think just speak to it. Yeah. Speak to what it is, you know, like that's like wildly important. So I think just speaking to it is pretty simple.
It is.
I hope that's a good answer.
A lot
that's
of
what I would do.
business owners don't think of it that way, right? They think that I guess simple doesn't sell, when in reality, simple is easy to understand, and therefore it is easy to sell.
Oh yeah, everything has to be like on a second grade reading level.
Yeah,
it has to. It has to be. It has to be. And I guess you're right, because I just did what every business owner does to me. Like, no, that can't be it. It's too simple. It's like, no, that's exactly it.
Yep.
You know, happens all the time.
So we had 2 examples so far. We talked about one person who's trying to get in front of their strategic referral partner.
Yep, FAQs.
We talked about somebody who's interested in attracting good team members, right? So now let's do what a lot of business owners often think of, which is getting in front of their targeted demographic. Let me think of a industry here. Let's do coaching. Somebody who has a high ticket coaching offer.
Okay.
And let's say life coaching, because that's general enough.
Funsies.
Right? So we have a life coach who sells a really high ticket offer. They need to get in front of their targeted demographic. What would you state they look at in terms of building their strategy?
Okay. Well, the first thing that comes to my head is with a life coach. I mean, yes, this is a general for everyone, right? That it needs to be, you need to be consistent. But I think especially for a life coach or anyone like in that service-based coaching-ish type of world, you definitely have to be consistent, because people are going to be watching. The chances of someone like finding you as a life coach and then like looking at 2 reels and be like, cool, you're hired. Slim to none. Could happen. Cool. But people want to, over time, trust you, see your advice, all that stuff. So it's going to take time. So number 1, I'm going to say if you're not consistent, and it's just not going to happen. But to be more specific, I think that, how do I like put it together? I think that with your market that you already have, your clients that you already have, right? There's obviously topics that this life coach is like, I talk about this all the time. Everyone has the same problem. This is a main thing. Let's say it's imposter syndrome, right? Whatever, because we like talked about it, right? Whatever the main thing is for that coach that they talk about all the time and they see it's consistent, pretty sure, like if you're seeing it happen, because like it's happening all over the place. So what I would do for that person in just this little area, I would talk about that on Reels a lot. And I would address that. And there's so many different ways to even talk about this one thing, but I would address it from maybe how you see it from the outside perspective, how the person sees it themselves, how clients see you when you have imposter syndrome. I would go from there. I would talk about maybe teaching people how to find the root of imposter syndrome. Where does that come from? Where does it stem from? I would go to what are triggers in your life that like bring up that imposter syndrome, right? Who are people around you? Whatever, like maybe the top 5 ways to get over imposter syndrome. You know, maybe some like quick coping mechanisms. Like if you're having like a total freak out moment that you're like, oh, I can't do this. Like what's a quick thing to do to kind of like ground yourself again? You know, I would just try to dissect, like if this is imposter syndrome, I would just try to dissect like who, what, when, where, why type of thing to attack all of that.
I like that. I like it.
Sick. I feel like a therapist right now.
You are a therapist.
Wow. Kind of.
Una pastora.
In some senses.
Sometimes.
Wow.
So, Miller, how are we doing on time? 30 minutes. Okay. What is a question that you don't get asked, but you feel like business owners should ask when looking at their marketing strategy?
What is a question that business owners should ask? I think that people should ask, like, how do I get out of my own head? I don't think no one has ever asked me that. And I think as much as like people, want to be like, yeah, I'm cool, I'm ready to go. There's always levels of like, I'm in my own head. I know, I can tell. Right? When like I ask a question and there's like a level of like rehearsing to it, I can tell, right? Which is fine, I guess, but like, why are you laughing? Because you're thinking of you? Is that why? Well, I could tell, and then I saw the reel, and then like I pulled it out. But I do think that people would ask like, how do I get out of my own head? Like, how do I get out of my own way? I wish that we can talk about that. Like,
how do I get out of my own way? How do I get out of my head, Chloe?
How do I weigh near the head? I mean, I think that like when I call people, like once we say like, okay, cool, we're booked. This is the package we're going for. Cool. In a few weeks, I'm going to call you. Then we're going to go over like all the details, you know, there's 10 questions that I have people answer, written. And then with those 10 questions, that's where like I pull most of the strategy from to kind of like go from there. But when we're talking on the phone, that's where I would like to probably take the time to kind of talk to them and just let them like blabber a little bit and just talk about like, well, this is what I love and this is what I love to do and blah, 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 whatever. And let them unwind. And as they unwind, that's where I get to like, okay, you see that right there? I need to see that. I need to know what that's about. Because what's happened is like, I will have these amazing conversations and I could hear it. But then when it comes to recording day, it might be like a little, you know, the good thing is that with time, and it doesn't even take that for some people, literally after the 4th reel, they're like, all right, good, I'm cool. But I do wish there was a little bit more of like a process involved where, not a process involved, but I do wish there was like a little bit more, like thought of like, I'm really just coming as a human who happens to own a business. You know, I really wish that there was more of just like a human aspect to it. And it was more like centered instead of like me like extracting it.
I mean, how could a business owner even prepare for that besides just time and practice? Could they listen to music? Could they maybe practice a few reels on their own, get the out first?
Yeah, I mean, I think both of those are good options. Like, I think doing a few reels on your own is always good. I used to tell people before before Dose became Dose. And when I was like doing other stuff, I used to tell people like record yourself, post it, and then just like slingshot your phone. Like literally just like record yourself, hi, blah, 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 whatever, post it, and then just throw your phone and like walk away and go do something. And like at first people were like, I'm not gonna, whatever. And then they actually started doing it. They're like, dude, it works. And they would just throw their phone because I'm like, you know, so I think that definitely helps by posting stuff. So that way you're not like staring at it, refreshing it, how many likes, you know, whatever. But I think like, it's like so annoying, but like
make it the least important part of you.
Like it just has to be the least important part. Like at the end of the day, it is social media. At the end of the day. Now, is it wildly important? Obviously, it's my entire business. So it is important. But in terms of showing up or like, I don't like how I look or I don't like how I sound or I could have said a better answer. Yes, there's a day that you're always going to look prettier on another day or you're going to have a better answer for sure. Like all of that stuff is true. But like, I promise you, no one cares as much as you do.
Yeah. No one sees it the way that you do.
No one ever. I mean, you've talked about this before that like that you've had like things that you're literally like, I do not like the way it happens to me all the time. Lexi just posted one and I'm like, ugh, and I'm like, I can't wait for tomorrow until the next reel comes up. So that just keeps on going down on the list. Like, I can't wait. But is it going to stop me? No.
No one sees us the way that we see ourselves.
No.
And I think somebody told me this. I don't remember if it was you, somebody else before. But they said that I'm doing the world a disservice by not sharing my knowledge.
I didn't say that, but I wish I did.
Take credit for it. But it was
by Chloe Peña.
It was shifting the focus off of me, which is why I'm a one and done recording gal. Yeah. To shifting the focus on my clients.
Yes.
Right.
It has to be a different mindset. It has to be like, this is not just a magazine and a collage of like how beautiful you are and how smart you are. Like, sounds cool, but that's not what this is.
Yeah.
You know, it's you. Your business helps people in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
It helps people some way. Like, people need your services, whatever it is, even if it's something silly or like not super serious, whatever, you know, like people need you. And I think, again, like it's another part, like it's the heart of Dose that like people are needed. People need to see you. People don't want the smoke screens. People don't want that stuff. I'm not interested in that stuff. So the people who vibe with me are also not interested in that stuff. So it is hard to get out of your own way. It is hard to do that stuff. But as a business owner, you know that you have to get out of your comfort zone. Yeah. As a business owner, you know that you have to step out. As a business owner, you know that like if you are the smartest person in the room,
you need to get into another room.
You need to get into another room, which I be all the time the dumbest person in the room, baby. And that's a good thing, you know? Like all the time, I'm like, what am I doing here, bro? These people are geniuses. But I mean, is that not true? Like, so if you are a business owner and, you know, you're like, I don't want to because I'm nervous, whatever. Like, cool, that's fine. At what point are you going to let that limit you, limit your business, limit your revenue, limit your dreams? Like, you're going to put all of your dreams on hold because revenue's not coming in or whatever, because you don't want to film yourself real quick.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like it, and you know, it doesn't match up. It doesn't match up. The math ain't mathin'. Yeah. And I'm not even a math person, you know?
So let's wrap this episode up.
All right.
If somebody has a wedding coming up, a conference, retreat, or maybe they're a business owner looking for consistent content, what is the best way for them to contact you to inquire about your services?
Okay. You can email me at Chloe, CHLOE, at dayofsocials.com. Socials is an S and day is plural. Sometimes people put days of socials. No. Day. One day of socials.com. Or like on Instagram at day of socials. That's probably the best way.
If you go to my Instagram, you'll find hers as well. But
why? But I don't tag myself, do I?
No, but I follow you and you can search followers.
Like look at through her followers.
What's also just really easy is going to the show notes below and getting her email right there.
You know, I was actually going to say that. Yeah. I was going to say, is it not all going to be in here? I know I should say it, but you know.
It will be. You still want to verbalize it, you know. Maybe somebody is listening while they're driving. Yes. You know, if you're listening, I'm really sorry you missed out on the visual amazingness of this episode.
You snooze, you lose.
You snooze, you lose. It's okay. You can watch it again. You're welcome. On repeat. Anyway, all right, I'm done. Thank you guys for joining. I look forward to seeing you next week. As always, have a great day.